This is Spoiled Anime. I'm Joseph,
And I'm Adam.
and we are going to be reviewing Ninja Scroll.
Yes, so according to IMDb, Ninja Scroll is a story about a mysterious vagabond who sets out on a journey to confront his past. Little does he know he's up against a demonic force of killers, with a ghost from his past as the leader.
All
Eh,
right,
pretty
pretty,
accurate,
yeah,
I would say.
pretty sums it up or sums it up pretty quickly there.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right, what do you think about it?
Uh, I, so this would be the first, like, I would say, adult anime I had ever seen. But as a whole, I would definitely give this one a go watch it. Thumbs up.
Yeah, people are probably going to be like, "Oh, they're always saying that it won't always be that way," but this is one of the ones that I do agree with too.
Oh,
I think it is definitely enjoyable, and it is also one of those ones that you want to be above 16, I'd say, to see.
yeah. Let's see here. I probably, honestly, the first time I saw it was probably when I was 13 because my dad had it in his movie rack, and when he was at work one day, I watched it.
Yeah, yeah.
I probably shouldn't have watched it, but I did.
All right, so if you want to go watch it now, this is the time to go watch it and stop. And if you have seen it and you're waiting for us to kind of dissect it, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to spoil it. So let's go kind of into that. So you've got Junbei, and by the way, I actually had not seen it until you suggested it. So
Really?
this was actually my first time watching it. Yeah. I'd
Oh, really?
always heard about it, but I did not actually go and watch it. It was one of those ones that's like, I'll get around to it kind of a thing. And I never gotten around to it.
Yeah, this was. Yeah, think this was when I was still living in Cal. Yeah, when I was still living in California. Like one of the times I went to visit my dad, and I'd watched it. Came back. Surprised I didn't tell you about it back then. But
You know what? It probably was one of those ones where we're like, oh, we should totally like get it or somehow rent it or kind of like we did with Species way back when we you know walked into the movie store and we're like, oh, his mom's in the car and
we can rent
we
this.
can rent this. Uh,
Back in the pre-interweb days.
exactly, but I think we never got around to it and. Which is a shame because it was enjoyable. I did really enjoy it. So
Yeah,
I guess we should break it down. So you got Junbei, um, and he's going off kind of. He's actually not really in the first part though. Uh,
yeah. The first it kind of starts off before it doesn't really show him. It's what the battle between the other ninja clan, and then they kind of all get screwed, and
yeah,
yeah, they get massacred by a gigantic rock man with his huge spinning boomerang blade or whatever the hell it is. But
yeah.
yeah, they just get massacred, and then I think what's he see. Then they show Jubei, right? Or does I thought it opens with Jubei on the bridge, and
Yeah, no, you are right. It opens on the bridge, and they're like, "Oh, you could have gotten so much money for the sword or whatever," but they was like, "Ah, they only had this much money," so which was kind of like a small, quick introduction to him.
yeah, it was a quick establishing of Jubei. Like he's not a good guy, but he's not a terrible guy either. He's kind of a rogue, but kind of rogue with his own little moral code going on.
Yeah,
He's willing to steal, but he's not willing to screw over the little guy.
exactly, exactly. And honestly, when I was first watching it, I thought the guy that was leading the ninja group into to the province because of the quote plague that had occurred, which was
Hmm.
actually them poisoning the water and
Hmm.
then screwing with everybody. Um, so I thought he was the main character until Rock Guy just ripped his arms off. I was like, oh crud, that guy just got his arms ripped off.
Main character, you are not.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, you have little to nothing to play in this. You have no arms now, unless he's going to be an awesome Muay Thai like kickboxer at later point in the movie. He is done.
Yeah, and it. Then from there, he kicks off, and the rock guy gets a hold of what's the girl's name? Emmy? Is it Emmy in this one? What is it? I don't remember what the
I don't
girl's.
remember her name.
Well,
Just
she's
Poison Chick is what. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, chick who's super poisoned. The rock guy, who you find out is one of the devils of Kimon, is he takes her and then proceeds to rape her, or
Yeah.
start, or he's getting ready.
Starts.
He gets the startings of that, and then Jubei guy says, "Oh, you can't." Basically, kind of causes a little business, and Jubei, the dude turns all rock, and Jubei's like, "Well, you can't be rock everywhere, can you?" And throws like a needle right in his face,
Yeah, right into
into
his
his eyeball,
eye. Right into the eyeball.
and then he takes a girl and runs, and it all goes. Then all kinds of shenanigans break loose from there. Uh,
Yeah. And at first I was like, maybe this isn't Junbei because Rock Guy just like when he meets him the second time, just straight out punches him right in the face. I was like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't Junbei. You know, like at that point I'm like, because he just got punched the hell out. He just got taken quickly. And then obviously you find out. That's when you find out about her poison because he's like, breaking up, and then Junbei like kicks, kills him.
yeah, gets him killed with his own blade, right?
Yeah.
And then cuts him in half.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. As far overall for, and then what goes on from there? From there, then he kind of hooks up with the chick to try and find what's going on with the plague, and then like you said, you find out it's a poison that they've been basically just setting this whole thing up the whole time. And the leader of the devils is actually somebody from Jubei's past who he thought he had killed before.
Who he'd actually beheaded. That was like the best part of it was even I would be confused because like I chopped his head off. It's not like I stabbed him through the chest and I left him there thinking it was gonna die. No, he completely cut his head off. It was
Yeah,
like over.
yeah, he straight Highlandered that ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he killed him, and but I guess that guy has the ability to just regenerate from anything as long as he can get his body together. No,
Yeah.
the
So
way they
the question is who put his head back on? They're like, well, let's just see how this goes. Like, just see, we put his head back on, but whatever.
yeah, yeah, that's craziness. Yeah, but I don't know. My overall thoughts on my first thoughts when I started watching it was the action was pretty sweet. The it was well animated. The overall animation I thought was really well done, really detailed and clean, especially for the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
the one I watched wasn't the subtitled one. It was actually the English version of it. But the English for it was very clean. I can't say much for, of course, the Japanese version, but
yeah, I think I've only watched the Japanese version once, honestly. Like I said, in I should say for most of the times when I'm watching these animes, if I can, I'm probably going to watch it with the English because I'd like to do other things while I'm watching shows. And,
exactly. And I'm very much the same way. It's like, yeah, I do enjoy hearing the actual, Japanese voice actors and actresses, but to be
mhm.
fair, most of the time it's either on my secondary screen or and sometimes it's actually on my main screen. I've just flipped and so I'm only listening to, because I've seen it so many times, I know the visuals for it. And
Exactly.
so it's kind of one of
Exactly.
those things that yeah, I just tend to listen to it dubbed.
Usually, something has to catch me, and then I'll give it my 100% attention. Like Berserk was like that,
Yeah, yeah.
but we'll get to that one another day.
Exactly, exactly. Um but yeah, so I mean, as you said, the art in it is very well done. Um and the story to it is captivating even though You
Hmm.
know, it's essentially a kind of very feudal revenge story in a way, and kind of coming to power, which was the whole. It was the gold of that mine that Junbei slaughtered everyone for hiding, um,
Yeah,
and
yeah, and Jubei, he waits like the little old crazy man kind of tricks him and poisons him, and which then forces Jubei to kind of play the hero.
yeah, because he is
Ju-
very much the
Jubei,
anti-hero.
yeah, Jubei doesn't want to be like running around doing all this crazy shit. He kind of, uh, he gets stabbed and he gets poisoned and has to. That's part of his reward is going to be gold and also the antidote, which then he later finds out is the girl is it Kagero? Kagero's the girl.
Yeah, Kagero.
And so Kagero, uh, you had to find out that in order for him to heal himself, I think, way he has to sleep with her, or
Yeah,
she is his antidote.
yeah, she
So,
is an antidote. Essentially
so
he kisses her because he never and gets
yeah,
the poison that way.
yeah. Isn't he kiss her as she's dying or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the old man's like, "You dummy, should have got some of that."
Yeah, maybe if you had tired her out, you wouldn't have this problem. She wouldn't be dead right now. But, just
Yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna be chivalrous. Completely backfires on him.
but then her getting killed turns Jubei into super massacre mode, and he just like annihilates wave upon wave of ninja who come after him and
Yeah,
just start falling to the wayside. Apparently, he just turns it on and he's just like a god of the sword and just like kills everybody. So,
exactly. I mean,
yeah.
and then at the end, probably the best part of it was when he's just like so pissed off, he continually headbutts that guy and just like messes his face up and puts it through the floor of the boat because he's that
Uh,
mad.
yes, I don't care how many times I have to kill you, I will keep killing you. And while he's saying that, he's just smashing his face over and over and over into this dude's melon, just crunching it into the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I mean the Devils of Camille I thought were all very unique and captivating when I was for especially for when I watched it when I was a lot younger the first time. And I thought these villains were they were monstrous. The first guy was made out of rock, and then you had the other guy who then you had the girl who
Who is snakes?
snakes coming out of her.
Hmm.
Yeah, coming out of her downstairs and whatever. And then you had old dude who's like a hornet's nest on his back. I thought that was kind of creepy and weird.
Yeah, and then you had the string guy who electrocuted people through his string.
Electrocution, and was
The
he also did the explosions, or was that the girl?
No, that was the chick. Yeah, the one that had a crush on him, who essentially he was like, I don't want anything to do with you, and she's like, oh no, he accidentally blew himself up. He stepped into my trap. It was
Well,
like, oh, vindictive. Yeah, that just happened.
he didn't want anything to do with that because he was into the wiener.
Yep.
He was into the big bosses, big
Yeah, he
boss
was.
wiener.
And
So
that was why, of course, he kills the snake chick because, like, they're all essentially. It was like maybe you should get people that have no drama between themselves because it was
yeah,
like,
yeah, they all kind of kill each other.
yeah. Oh, and Armless guy did come back. He was turned into a bomb by that chick.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And then what? Who was the other guy? You had the poison. Was it what poison? Because the guy who captures the girl was
oh
that
yeah, the guy who
what was his power? I forgot.
he was like a shadow manipulator or
Oh
something.
yeah, that's right. He can go in and out of the shadows, and then he was didn't he get hit by the poison too because he was retarded?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
so it started to kill him, and he weakened, and then Junbei threw his sword through him.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. And then Gemma, the big bad guy, at the end, after smashing his face in the ground, he regenerates, comes back, and the boat that's burning on fire, all the gold turns molten and encases him and throws him in the water, which I thought was a pretty good fix for killing him.
yeah, because I mean that's definitely one way to stop him from coming back. He falls into a trench, and he's completely made of gold. So
Yeah, it's kind of like the bad guy who gets encased in concrete or something like that. Essentially, he's encased in something he can't break out of forever. Well,
Exactly.
until somebody's stupid enough to remove it. But
Yeah. And didn't one of his arms get sliced off at one point too, I think? But
yeah, I think Jubei slices his arm off right before he gets encased in gold. I think so.
yeah. Cuz he's like trying to climb up or something and he's like, "Nope," cuts his arm off.
Because he gets encased in gold. He grabs Jubei's leg, I think, or arm or something like that, and it like burns his leg, and he's like, "No!" And he chops his leg or arm off, and then he finishes getting encased in gold and falls off into the water.
Yeah.
I think that's how that went down.
Yep.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen this.
But yeah, so I mean, all in all, it was a good movie from start to finish. And
Yeah,
I thought it was enjoyable. Uh,
yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I found it to be a still like when I'm suggesting anime to people, especially people who are like, "Oh, yeah, it's animation. It's for kids." This is when I go, "If you think anime is for kids, watch this movie. It'll change your mind." It's good. And as far as badass swordsman goes, I'd say Jubei's right up there. Could give any other badass swordsman in anime a run for his money.
exactly. So I think that pretty much kind of sums it. I mean, it's enjoyable. It's definitely worth watching, and you can watch it once or twice, and then watch it again and still enjoy it. So I think that's probably where we'll end it. Is on that note, since we finished essentially the the breakdown of the movie, and so for everything that Adam is doing this week, go down to the description below. Same for me. Please subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you on the next anime.